everybody. Good morning and welcome to Womiba Finance channel. Okay, today it's a quick one. These are all the things you have to bear in mind when going to Canada. I think I have managed to sit down and to research these points. They are 20 in number, 19 stroke one I added by myself as an immigrant living abroad. Okay, we did a poll yesterday. I think was it 2 days ago or yesterday about the country you want us to discuss with you and other things like future for your own children. Now we have to dive into this. When you know your why am I here? How can I achieve my purpose? What can I do? Who can I speak to? Which course will I do? Which job will I do? Which business will I do? How am I going to do it? Am I going to do it immediately I arrive, or I have to wait for some paperwork? Because abroad you have to wait for a lot of things before you start making moves. You don't just come abroad except you're coming under a visa specifically for that thing. You just don't come abroad and say you want to do this, you start doing it. No, 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 no. There's a lot of planning you have to do in this country. It's not back home where you have some people to fall back on. You are on your own. And sometimes, see, the system restricts the kind of help you will get if there's any issues. So there's a whole lot to think about in knowing your why. You have to get it right. Then number two is have a clear understanding of the country's rules and regulations so that you don't start going to make a mistake. Can you marry somebody that is below 18? Can you buy alcohol in the shop? Can you travel in the neighboring country without a visa? Can you do this job without this skill? These are the things that will be going on in your mind as an adult that just arrived in your host country. There are things, back home is a different culture, is a different government, is a different law enforcement agencies. So, everything, everything in that country is so different from your own. So before you can start living there comfortably, you have to understand the system. So this is number two of understanding the system. It is for your own security. There are people that have gone to a shop or sent an underage child to go and get alcohol for them, which is not allowed. There are other people again that have gone out with a child because the child look like adult. They didn't ask the right questions. So this number two is a very, 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 very important point to note. Understand the system before you start jumping and dancing and gyrating. Understanding the system it might be one of the things that can one of the good things that can happen to you, because if you find yourself in a problem, you will be in a fix. Maybe your career will be on hold. Your career will be, stagnant at that point, because there are things you will do before the court processes. They will stop you from working. So your career and everything that you have going on, even job, if you're working and there are some problem you will have, even if you're working, they will tell you to go home and sit down till after the inquiries or investigation. It depends on the sector that that have to do with that crime. If it is health sector, then you are in for a soup. If it's education sector, you are in for a big thing. So to avoid putting yourself in a fix, understand the system. The number three is be prepared for the weather. If you're going to Canada, people, somewhere like Canada, New Zealand, these are countries that have some wildfire problem and wildlife and wildfire problems and nature problems. So you have to be prepared. I have somebody that went to Poland. He has been disturbing me that he wants to change, so he's now trying to migrate to UK because he told me that the place is cold. He cannot cope. Okay, another thing is that the age as well. He is 53 years old, so it's not everything that he can cope with there. So number 4 is check the visa requirements. If you check the link, I have, you know, explained, the visa requirements you need, things you need to get in order in my previous video. So you have to sit down and list it out, then tick the ones you have met and work on the ones you have not met. So that will give you a room, that will prevent you from being confused when preparing, because there's a whole lot of things to do. There are people that told me that they have been in queue to get the only international passport. They have not succeeded. So, when you get the list of the requirements, if you watch this video, you can write it down. This video, I'm linking it to this video. You will see everything there, all the requirements you need to travel to Canada. It is there. Then number 4 is consider traveling insurance. Sometimes, because of our history, we don't like to bother about health insurance portfolio, or will I say health insurance pack, because getting health insurance will help you. But sometimes, majority of people that wants to migrate are people struggling with, money and other things. So getting health insurance immediately they arrive or will be sort of a problem. But I would like you to think towards acquiring one. Get a very healthy insurance package. You don't know, anything can happen. I've seen it happen. Check the alcohol age limit. Don't send a child to go and buy alcohol in Western world, no matter the age limit of that country or what the country, so that you will prepare yourself to start doing things like an adult. Know this. And again, not only buying alcohol agents, they just sack him because obviously he's a drunkard. He's the alcohol. And he went to a party. He went to a party on Saturday then night. Then he went to work from the party. That's another thing. Then be wildlife conscious. If you're going to Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, be very, very wildlife conscious. Be very, very, because anything can happen. There's fire. There's anything. Any natural disaster can happen in these 3 countries, especially New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. They are prone to natural disaster. And stick to one area or two if you need to. But it's better you stick to one province. Do you know why? Because if you stick to one place, you will be able to focus. You will be able to to understand and absorb what is there for immigrants in that province. But if your mind is everywhere, your mind is in Quebec, your mind is in or even Australia, outside Canada, your mind is even in New Zealand, your mind is in UK, your mind is in Germany, you are not you are not focusing. Please focus. Then understand the transportation system and transportation route. If you're in UK, if you're coming to UK, I will say you buy a map or you get from the train station, because I still use a map too, but I get all those ones that they give in train station. I will see that my journey. So understanding map and getting things, that will help you understand the city and the area. Like I'm in England. There are people that are in Scotland, there are people that are in Wales, there are people that are in Northern Ireland, and there are people that are even in our neighboring country, which is Republic of Ireland. So, but all of us can use the all of us can use the map to locate where you're going. I don't you can go and do a very basic research on Google and Google Map, but I don't like using Google Map for some obvious reasons. But I know that when you're using Google Map, you will be able to know when they have updated, even when government have updated some instructions about locations. So that is the good, because it's an artificial intelligence that they are using to connect the cities. So they can pick corrections easily than what is already in the map that that was written maybe 20 years ago, because there's old map that I found in my house. I think I bought it in 2012 or thereabouts, because I did a lot of travel at that time. So I bought it then, but I noticed something. I noticed that um some corrections, because governments are building new sites and everything and all that. So I noticed that some sites, except you're buying the like edited revisions, in as years goes on, then you can capture some corrections or some changes. But if you're using Google Map, you will be able. So these are the cons and pros of using map, Google Map. Another point is, understand, if you're going to Canada, understand that they have tipping culture. What do I mean by tipping culture? If somebody serves you food in a restaurant, you have to tip them like five Canadian dollars or 10 Canadian, depending on how the thing is good, or how you view tipping. Because some people think that tipping is helping somebody in a low income wage, to get something, that uh, um they can use to build their own selves. So another one is, this one is, pay attention, because it has to do with tax. Because any country that have to do with taxing, because tax is a criminal offense. If I'm wrong, just correct me, but I know that tax is one of criminal offenses. So, but if you don't understand it, please seek help from somebody that is an expert of in tax. Understand your tax bracket. If you're in UK, understand that if you work this hour, look at your tax bracket. They will send it, they normally send it in the post, like where you are in your tax and all that. Please check your own host country's tax. Be sure you keeping evidence of paying this tax, because tax, like I said before, is a criminal offense. Not paying your tax is a criminal offense. And another, if you're going to Canada, remember that there's a tax for export sales. That's a tax the government have to apply to your billing, or your business rates or whatever. So understand that, and understand that these taxes can come in different ways. And again, if you're doing business, maybe you are doing like me, I mean, I do candle business, and I understand that we have to have insurance. So some businesses are different in their own taxing this thing, because a candle maker have to pay for insurance and even tax. That's a way the thing is structured. So that's why you need help if you can't understand it. Then know your neighbors, know where you shouldn't live, know the crime rates of anywhere you are going to or moving to. Because one thing I have found out about our people is this: they don't care about that. That's a woman in 2017. Her son was killed. Her son was only 2 weeks in this country. Her son was killed. When she moved in that 2017, she went to go and move in a gang area. You know what I mean? Like those postcode gang members and stuff like that. I don't want to call the name of the city. But if you've been long in this UK, like 2017, you will know this woman, her son came back from school, went to go and play in a garden, and the ball, he kicked the ball outside his mom's garden. It went to another place, and when he ran out of his mother's house to go and get his ball, arguments and everything escalated. He was, knifed there. Please, 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 please understand your neighbor. Know when you need to live some certain community, because that you are in a Western country doesn't mean that everybody in Western country is a gentleman or a gentlewoman. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to make research about your neighbor and understand it. If you're going to, and number two is language barriers and all that. Okay, I've heard it. I did about scholarship, Germany scholarship that is ongoing. Some people came to tell me, oh, I know that the scholarship is taught in English, but after the English, how can I cope with the language and all that? I said, if you are serious, so far as you are applying for a scholarship, you will be paid stipends. As you are reading, then you will be studying the language. Even in this UK, there's English school, and I believe there will be a German school and all that. If you're going to that, if you're going to Quebec in Canada, if Quebec, you're trying to migrate to Canada, you're going to Quebec, start learning French, because Canada Canada as a country has two official language, English and French. So bear this in mind. Then understand that as you are working in, okay, as you are working, you have to plan for your retirement. Your retirement is important. You have to plan for when I am not going to be capable of doing what I supposed to do for myself. Do I have something in place that will help me cope at that trying time, or because all of us will age and die. So we should understand that having these discussions within ourselves with our family members, will go a long way to help, and will give us a picture of how we should, manage our funds when we are in active service. Because once you retire, there are things that give way. So number five, no, another point is get in love with the nature. If you're going to New Zealand, Australia and Canada, get mad about culture of wildlife and all that, because it is a good thing to explore nature, but nature can cause havoc. But all of us, we are working together, as humans, to make sure that we stay, where we will not force nature to react. That's the way I will put it. Okay, understanding the currency with the exchange rate, familiarizing yourself with your host country currency is important. If you're earning euro, if I send 1,000 pounds or euros home, how much am I getting in my own currency, like rands, South African rands, or cedis for Ghanaians and all that. So when you understand the amounts you are paying and amounts you are using to develop yourself, sometimes you will end up doing overtime that is not healthy for our living standard, and sometimes we don't care about the implications of what we are putting our body and system through to make sure that we keep on bringing the bread home. But that is not, it doesn't work like that in most cases, because in most cases, once you understand your tax bracket, you understand why you are in that country, you understand a lot of things that have to do with the language, the currency I'm talking about now, then you have to start making sense and making sense of the entire system. And you also understand your own financial capability and some gain some financial literacy to help you cope. This is why it is good for you to network, in a very good way. Okay, some of you might have seen some videos trending online, and I would like to say this. The lady was complaining that she did not uh, 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 she was not informed, rather she was not informed about situation of things when she went to Canada, and the money she would be getting to pay her school fees, and the job and the hours that the job gave her, and again the traveling distance and all that. I said that's why you need to listen. That's why you need to listen, because going to a new country that is not your country is psychological trauma that all of us are running away from talking about, because there are some certain things that might have that might not happen to you if you are with your family. And these are the things we tell students when they are applying, that is a different thing. You have to have a strong heart and endurance to endure to get everything you want to get out of the system of your host country. And that is where I will end this video. And please subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much and enjoy your weekend. Bye bye from me. Thank you.